Welcome back, everyone. Last week on Agatha All Along episode, we got Lilia sacrificing herself and falling to her death in one of the most beautiful sequences Marvel has ever done. Let's get right into it by breaking down the two-part finale. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos and watch out for spoilers if you haven't seen the episode. Alice wakes up in the cabin from episode 5, papers scattered around the room. When she does, she sees Rio telling her it's time to go, and her own dead, drained body on the floor, disorienting. Alice doesn't understand that this is all the time she gets. She finally broke the curse, so now she can finally do something with her life. Rio responds that Alice is the protection witch. She died protecting someone. Alice isn't ready to go, but Rio leads her out into a green fog anyway. Outside, Agatha is going through it, disoriented and frightened, especially when she sees Rio, who tells her that her coven is shrinking. The bodies are piling up, just as she promised. Rio doubted that she would actually deliver, as she thought there would be a trick. And there was. Agatha was distracting her from Billy, an abomination disrupting the sacred balance because of the whole body stealing ordeal. Rio knows how Agatha feels about him. She watches her just as closely as she watches everyone else. Rio tells Agatha that no one in history has had a special treatment like her. Agatha thinks that's a laughable thing to say, considering Rio gave her nothing, just took. Rio asks Agatha why she lets them believe those things about Nikki, and she replies that the truth is too awful. Rio says what Billy wants from the road is a violation. Agatha believes it's a waste of time. Tommy is not out there, not yet anyway. Rio has to take Billy because she can't let Tommy be Billy 2.0. Agatha defeatedly tells her to take him before realizing Rio can't. If he is killed, he will reincarnate again and Rio will lose him. So she needs Billy to turn himself in. Agatha promises to arrange that in exchange for Rio letting Agatha go. But she also wants death to stop pursuing her and making her life hell. When Agatha dies a long time from now, she doesn't want to see Rio's face. Rio clearly hurt, but agrees. She walks away and puts a knife through the wall of the road. Jen is pounding on the door to the direct trial, sobbing to Billy about how Lilia is gone. Even though it was her choice to sacrifice herself, Jen tells Billy the green craft is about the circle of all living things, growth and decay. Given that Agatha's ex is officially dead, it makes sense, doesn't it? Billy tells Jen the fact that she and Rio met over bodies is a proof that Agatha has feeling, which confuses Jen. She doesn't get his loyalty. Billy says he's aware Agatha can never be anything but a covenless witch, which she overhears before barking, "It's time to finish the road." The last trial is an earth one, with no green witch tragically, but Agatha says there is some overlap with potions. She mocks Jennifer, surprised she survived this long, as her money was on Lilia. As Agatha is being an annoying pest, she trips on their shoes, revealing that they are back to the beginning, as the road is a circle. If that's the case, then how the hell do they get off? Billy tries to help, but Agatha screams at him in the most terrifying voice to be quiet if he doesn't know what to do. Agatha says they have to keep going, and Billy puts his shoe back on. They took them off out of their respect for the road, and the road doesn't deserve that. Billy wakes up in a body bag in a morgue, followed by Agatha and Jen. Agatha realizes they are in her basement, and Jen notes that the ceiling has grow lights. They each have their personal items back, including Agatha's brooch, Billy's spell book, though he can't read anything yet. The grow lights start going off, starting the countdown. Jen thinks about how she can save Agatha and Billy, and Billy gives Jen a pep talk that makes her realize maybe she's the reason why she hasn't been able to use her magic. She is not bound at all from her time in Boston. Agatha notes that she didn't realize she ever passed through there, and Jen realizes Agatha is the one who bound her for 100 years. In Agatha's defense, she didn't know it was her. Jen does an emotional unbinding ritual, and her power re-enters her again. She then disappears because the road gave her what she was missing. Agatha tells Billy that this can end right here, right now, if he juices her up. She doesn't trust her, assuming she is going to take all his power, but Agatha tells him to sit down so they can find his brother. Tommy isn't waiting out there with a body, but Billy can give him a new life, which is what has Rio in net dizzy. She instructs Billy to close his eyes and tell her the last things he remembers with Tommy. He recounts the last few moments of their hex as Agatha walks him through it, instructing him to keep calm and breathe through it, all with Tommy in a very touching scenes. Billy places Tommy's soul in the body of Kid, who is about to join, but his family is bad. There is no one to love him. Billy asks Agatha if he is killing a boy so that Tommy can live, but before he can hear her say no, he disappears. Alone, Agatha sadly says that sometimes boys die. She takes the piece of Nick's hair from her brooch and gently brushes it down her face. Beneath the hair, there is a small dentalian seed that she uses to successfully complete the trial by placing it in a patch of soil beneath the cracked ground. As the last lights begin to go out, Agatha screams that she needs more time, crying as a dentalian grows out of the dirt. The ceiling rises back up before starting to cave in, and Agatha makes it out just in time, emerging from the storm shelter in Westview. Rio laughs and cheers from the perch atop of the house, congratulating Agatha on making it through the last try. But she still doesn't have her powers. Agatha wants her prize, but so does Rio. Where's Billy? He hasn't surrendered himself, so Agatha is coming with Rio, and she is thinking death by 1,000 cuts. The windows break, slicing Agatha all over. The Westview citizens see this and are so unbelievably sick of these shenanigans they never asked for. These two have made their messy breakup everyone's problem. So Agatha attempts to expel Rio, the evil, but Rio says she is the natural order of things, that Agatha loves her, and that she is a coward. Heeding Thelia's warning from the previous episode, Agatha proceeds to hit the deck, narrowly avoiding the flying debris Rio sends her way. Rio continues to beating the shit out of Agatha from the roof and asking Agatha why she doesn't want her while Agatha tries to escape. Eventually, Rio comes down from the roof, but before she can get too close to the Agatha, she magically pushed away by Billy, who descends from the sky in his Wiccan costume and offers her some of his magic, telling her not to take it all. Agatha absorbs it and laughs, feeling free and happy and getting an iconic glow up, but does stop before draining Billy of his power. Rio gives Billy and Agatha a choice. One of them stays with her, while the other gets to walk free. Agatha is not having that, deciding to battle Rio in the backyard instead. Billy, who ends up tossed into the shed, re-emerges out to help. Agatha tells him this is a futile, as they can't fight death. She is willing to sacrifice herself, but Billy doesn't want that. Agatha tells him he's not bad, and Billy tells her she is not either. Billy tells Rio he will go with her, and Agatha seemingly betrays him, agreeing to let Billy go without a fight. What can she say? She is a commonless witch. Billy reaches out to Agatha in her head and asking if this is how Nick died. At that, Agatha approaches Rio and kisses her. Black smoke swirls around them, and Agatha lifts into the air. It took a piece off on her face as she falls back to the ground. Rio sees her body, the life sucked from her, and sheds a few tears. Agatha sinks into the ground, beautiful flowers growing on top of her. With only her brooch left behind, Billy picks it up, and Rio shifts into her death mask, telling Billy he can go. As Billy walks away, the people of Westview greet him, just like Wanda did. He pulls up his hood, he drives away and goes home, where his parents immediately start bombarding him with questions about where he is being and fusing over him. Billy goes into his room, looking at all the decor there. His Lorna Move poster, Wicked Witch statue, and episode 5 penance among them. He puts the piece together and realizes it was Billy all along. He is the one who created the witch's role. He hears a cackle and boo, and the episode fades to black. In Salem, Massachusetts, in 1750, a young Agatha is running around in a purple cape, about to give birth. If only midwife Jen was here to help her. She starts to go into labor, but Rio is there in her green cape, waiting. Agatha is pleads with Rio to let her unborn son live, but Rio says she can only offer time. Agatha asks how much, but Rio disappears before she can answer. Agatha gives birth, holding her son and lovingly telling him he was made from scratch. Later, she approaches a coven with the newborn Nicholas in a tow, pretending to be meek and in need of food. The forest witch is somewhat skeptical but invites her into their circle. Agatha smiles bashfully before shielding all of their power with no remorse. Baby Nicholas giggles, and Agatha tells her son she thinks they are going to be very good at this. 6 years later, it's clear Agatha has been teaching Nicholas her scamming ways, but steals things and runs, luring witches into Agatha's house so she can get their power. Later, Nicholas asks his mother why she kills witches, and she says she does it to survive. Nicholas asks if they can just stay with the witches and survive that way, but Agatha says no. If they do, the witches will try to kill them instead. Nicholas sings an early version of the Ballad of the Witch's Road, and Agatha joins him, the two having fun together. Later, Agatha tells Snake that while she can do many things with her power, she can't heal him or protect him from what's coming. Eventually, the inevitable comes, with Nick waking up one night to see Leo waving at him with a torch. He goes over to hear Theorise giving Agatha a goodbye kiss at her urging first. Agatha is horrified when she wakes to find her son dead. Crying that she wants more time, she makes a grave and sings the ballad over it, tucking a piece of his hair into her locket. A witch overhears Agatha singing ballad and stops her to ask where the road is, since she seems so familiar with the song. So Agatha's pretty pissed at the interruption, considering she's literally at her son's funeral. But then she gets an idea. She tells this woman that she will show her way after they gather a coven. Agatha beats the witches just like we saw her try to do in episode 2, gathering the women together and draining their power. She does this for many centuries, gaining more and more power with the same trick. The costumes in this segment are iconic, showing the centuries and centuries of her being a killer. We cut to episode 2's Ballad, with Agatha looking straight at the camera after realizing who actually created the role. Before a grey-haired Agatha shows up as a ghost in Billy's room, she wants to make it clear she didn't sacrifice herself for him. She simply took a calculated risk. She is still figuring out the rules of this whole being an apparition thing and is bummed she can slap him without a physical body. So Agatha tells Billy that he did something interesting with his power, unlike Wanda, and reveals the ballad was a con the whole time. The road wasn't real until he made it real. Billy freaks out, feeling guilty for killing Alice, Lily and Sharon, given that they are not ghosts themselves. Agatha tells him she killed Alice. It was Lily a choice to die, and Sharon simply doesn't matter. Besides, if he does the math on it, he actually saved a life, gents. Agatha was going to kill them all in her basement on day 1. Agatha tells him if he wants to be a witch, he has to get used to this feeling. He's adamant he never will. We'll see, Agatha retorts. Billy heads down to the basement to the Witch's Road portal, and Agatha's ghost is there waiting for him, watching as Billy makes a chalk shape and gathers candles around, flying his spellbook to himself with Agatha's brooch in hand. He attempts to banish her. Time to go towards the light or toxic embrace or whatever for eternity. Agatha tells him he can't just banish her with an incantation or personal items. But he responds that it worked on Wanda's spell. Agatha tells him he wasn't responsible for freeing her before. He just loosened the jar. As Billy tries and fails to banish Agatha, she finally admits she can't move on because she can't face Nicholas. Using enough strength of will, Agatha is able to pick up her brooch and put it on. As Billy points out that he's sure Nicholas would forgive Agatha for what she did. It's when she says things like that Agatha muses that Billy reminds her of her son. Billy adds that being a ghost suits Agatha, spirit as my guide, and Agatha tells him that they could make a good team, even though she tends to kill her coven members, but then again so does Billy. Billy uses his magic to close the door to the Witch's Road, and Sharon, Alice and Lilia names appears as if on a gravestone. One door closes, another opens, literally. A lit staircase appears and two vow to go to find Tommy. Choices were certainly made in its finale, with some of them paying off better than others. I'm still not sure how I feel about the Ghost Agatha. On one hand, I'm so glad it looks like we are gathering more Gathering Hand in this MCU, potentially in the Vision spin-off. This entire show has truly been career-defining performance for Han, a declaration that shouldn't be taken lightly considering just how impressive her career has been. The thought of her being an obnoxious ghost mentor isn't a direction I saw coming, but it's a bold and frankly hilarious one. She and Loki have proven themselves to be an excellent duo, and I am satisfied by their ending with each other. Devoting time to Agatha and Nick paid off too. As seeing her maternal side in Salem gives her a beautiful texture, but I'm not sure I can say the same about others expect. The Agatha and Rio relationship doesn't feel like it has a satisfying ending, and frankly, there are still a lot of questions and confusions there. The fact that we didn't get a chance to see the beginning of their relationship or really any moments where they were happy together is puzzling, narratively speaking, considering the build-up. Jen gave one hell of a performance during the trial scene. Her getting her power back me chills and immediately made me teary-eyed. But her ending felt a bit rushed. I wish we had got a little more indication of where she goes from here. And Alice really got the short end of the straw until her very last moments, besides her name on the makeshift grave. I never felt like there was any real closure or conclusion for her. All in all, Agatha All Along is a great beginning or middle chapter for many characters, but it certainly doesn't feel like a clear resolution for any means. While not every loose end needs to be tied up, considering the MCU is known for bringing character back and continuing their journeys, I do wish they would have wrapped a few more, or at least fleshed a couple of more relationship and backstories out. If you find a reference during the episode that I didn't talk about in this video, please write them down in the comments. Thank you.